Outside in an AMG, right outside. Turn, baby girl, you know me.
Okay, Trent.
Still with the girls that are inside.
Okay, Trent.
Gotta watch the time, 'cause it's flying like that. I'm outside.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. This is going to be our first video of 2024, and in today's video, guys, basically I gave you guys the truck update at the end of last year, but we've never actually done a Camaro update, and there are a few things that I really want to start doing to this thing. I kind of did a basis of some stuff last year, but it wasn't really much. You know, I got the front lip here, got the side skirts there, I painted the calipers. Didn't really do too much to it, but you know, it did help out some. But this year, guys, I got a whole list of stuff that I really want to get done to this thing. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. So as just mentioned, we already have our front lip here, we have our side skirt here, but our rear bumper here isn't really got nothing going on for it. So I want to try to find a rear diffuser splat or something that'll go in line with our side skirts there. And then in the back, you guys know, for 5th gen Camaros, a common modification is to do quad tip exhaust. So for the longest, you guys know, I've had this single tip setup with a 5-inch tip. Makes the rear end of this thing really aggressive with these big 315s on the back of it. So it's not really a bad look at all, but you know, I just kind of figured it's played its time, so it's time to change it up a little bit. So I'm probably going to end up getting the 1LE diffuser for this thing, and then we're actually going to be doing a quad tip setup, and I'm gonna come back to the exhaust. But yeah, just know that we're going to be messing with the rear end here, right here. Also, we're gonna do something else back here, but as mentioned, we're gonna come back to that. So before I open this hood, once again, for those guys that are following 5th gen Camaros, you guys know there are 2 common mods for the front end of the 10 to 13 cars, and even a 14 to 15 if you want to do that, but mostly for the 10 to 13 cars. I'm going to be doing one out of the 2, so be prepared for that. You guys can drop your guesses in the comments of which one of the 2 that you guys think I'm gonna do. I've already been talking with my guy Ore, because you guys know I say it all the time, paint and body is just not my thing. So he's already offered to help me out whenever I get these parts in, to go ahead and help me get them installed on the car. And then so definitely the front end is going to be changed up as well. We just mentioned that the back end is going to be getting changed up. So next up, if we open our hood here to view our beautiful LS3 engine bay. So for starters, you guys probably have not seen this, but I did end up getting an OEM 1LE strut tower brace for this car. Basically, it helps with rigidity in the front end and everything. You know, you're not really gonna feel it too much because I don't really have any sway bars or anything like that as of yet. So but it does help with flex in the strut towers, which is strut tower brace. That's what it's for. But I ended up polishing the center out, and then I painted the ends of them black. As for modifications under this engine bay here, so the LS3 engine is one of the most coolest looking engines that you can have for, you know, a street car that's an actual street car. So even though it does look this good, there are some stuff that we can still do to make it look even better. So for starters, for the early 2010 and 2011 models, these are the heater hoses, and as you can see, these things just run right across the top of the manifold, basically blocking the view of the main piece. So I'm gonna end up getting the 2012 and up heater hoses for this thing, and whenever I get those, basically it's gonna move these hoses out the way, still run down the side of the motor and everything, out the way of the headers, and we'll be able to see our intake completely. The next cleanup is, I haven't decided if I'm going to do aftermarket fuel rails or not, but I can get a fuel line from the C6 cars. I don't know why GM decided to do this different, but on the C6 cars, you know, obviously they're LS3 as well, their fuel line basically ends right here, versus my car, as you can see, the fuel line goes all the way across the intake onto the fuel rail on this side. So a common mod is to basically flip this fuel rail and then use the C6 line, so that way you don't have this big ugly fuel line going across the motor. So that's going to be another cleanup, or I can either do that or I can get some aftermarket fuel rails. Basically I won't have anything going across the intakes. The third mod is, when I cam this car, I don't know if you guys can see, but I did paint the valve covers black. So you might be able to see it better on that side right there. So I did paint the valve covers black, you know, to give it a little pizzazz or whatever. But I kind of just want to get some better looking valve covers, and Holley makes some taller valve covers for these cars that won't interfere with any fitment issues or anything like that. And also, when doing that, that will actually get rid of this coil pack bracket, and the coil packs will sit on the valve covers themselves. So out of all the things up under this hood, that's probably going to be the one that I'm most excited for, because it's really going to get this motor a very clean look. So last thing under here that I might do, I might not, is I got this K&N intake here, and it's always been a secondhand intake since I got the car, basically. I did get this dry filter to kind of match, you know, with the black stealthiness of the car, but I think I want to maybe get a better intake. I mean, it's only a cold air intake, so there's really not much room for anything. So I mean, really it'll just kind of be for my satisfaction. Won't really make any better power unless I get an enclosed box from Cold Air Inductions or something like that. But that's gonna probably be the last thing I end up doing under here. I think we're gonna be done under the motor here. So if we come around back here, if you guys also know, there is another mod that is commonly done to the 5th gen Camaros, at least for the 10 and 13, sometimes to the 14 and 15s as well, and that's to make this a quad diffuser setup. So we're doing a quad tip setup. I've been back and forth. I don't know what I want to do yet for sure. I don't know if I want to change up the exhaust system on this car yet. You guys know, ever since I've had this car, I've had Corsa set up on here, not from like a full kit or anything. It's basically the same two Pro Series mufflers that I have on my truck that you guys love so much, and I have the 3-inch X pipe back to those after my headers. You know, you guys know how it goes. So yeah, I'm not really sure if I want to change this up or not, because it does sound great. It sounds amazing going through the gears and everything. But I've also always liked how the Borla S-type setups sound on these cars, at least for the LS cars, and it really gives it a deep tone, kind of, you know, it's a nice deep quiet, but it still sounds good though. So only problem with that is Borla doesn't offer a 3-inch setup for these cars. It's only I believe the largest you can get is like a 2 3/4. So I would prefer to have full 3-inch. So I've been bouncing around the idea of getting the full speed engineering setup for this car. So I've been looking through videos, still sounds aggressive on throttle. So the car will still be decently loud, but you know, it'll be a little bit quieter than this, but it should still sound good. So I've been thinking about doing that. I've been poking around looking for some new tail lights for this thing as well. These tail lights here are only the stock halogen lights, but I put the tint film over them from Fast Tech, so that's why they're all blacked out. I really like how it looks. You guys know I blacked out the emblem there as well, just like I did the front. And you know, that's what I've been rocking with for the longest. But I kind of feel like, you know, the fronts have the halos and the HID lights from the factory, but the rear end, they were just kind of like, yeah, put these off the shelf that we got over here for the rear end. So I've been wanting to find some LED style housings for this car. Same thing how I've been mentioning about my truck. I kind of want a setup to where, you know, the full light is a brick of LEDs, just like I mentioned for the truck, and then I will again tint the whole light as well. And then these, for my bezels, these are only the stock bezels. When I first got this car, these were plastic dip, and the last owner did a terrible job of that. So I kind of sanded that down as best as I could, and I used spray rattle can on them. So they've been spray painted black ever since I've gotten this car, because that plastic dip cannot stand on this car. So I'm going to be getting the actual legit bezels that are black for this as well, to go with the tail lights. I know the common light setup to do are the Oracle afterburners, but I just don't like how when you step on the brakes, you still get the original looking light on here. So that's why I want to go with a full LED housing. The biggest brand that sells LEDs are like the spider lights, and those just kind of look like some audio shop stuff. Not really into how that looks on this car. But yeah, guys, so I believe that's gonna be everything as far as the outside of the cars that you can see. I did mention there's probably gonna be a couple performance things. First things first, probably gonna do some more BMR stuff here to the rear end to tighten it up a little bit more. I did mention sway bar up front. Probably gonna be getting some better sway bars. You know, I'm not doing autocross or nothing with this car, but you know, I do like to take the low extra ramp turns a little bit fast, so the sway bars will help with that. As mentioned, probably gonna do some more mods on it here to tighten it up, make it a little bit safer when I'm into the power and everything, keep it from wiggling and doing whatever it wants to do when it's happy. So yeah, guys, not really gonna be doing too much performance to this thing this year. If I do, it's because I just couldn't help it. And you guys will still see what that's gonna be to come. But yeah, guys, other than that, I hope you guys are excited for the modifications that I have planned for this thing, because it is really gonna be a fun one, and I can't wait to see basically, what are we on, stage 3, 4, 5, whatever it is with this car. So with that being said, guys, hope you guys will stick around to see the end result after everything. I already have a cart full of parts that I'm ready to order for this thing. Basically, probably just gonna be ordering them one at a time so I don't go broke. Like and subscribe if you're new. And with that being said, guys, I'll catch you on the next one.